I want to go straight to London when I'm bringing CNN Royal correspondent Max Foster outside Buckingham Palace. Max, what are you learning?
The Queen has died, very sadly. She died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and Queen Consort were referenced there to Charles. He automatically becomes King, will remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow. I'm just going to look at another email I just received, if there's any extra there. No, the Queen has died, and long live the King. I'm not going to call him King Charles because we don't know what his name will be, but all we know is the Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon, which is horrific news for the nation, and I can only imagine how people feel watching this. You'll see that the flag over Buckingham Palace has been lowered to symbolise the Queen's death. I don't know quite what to say. I mean, this was the news we were dreading, but obviously what happened this afternoon was the Queen died and the family were informed and they headed up to Balmoral and they are there to pay their respects. There's a very clear process that follows now. We would expect to hear from the King tonight in a televised address, and you'll start hearing bells tolling across London and indeed the nation, and flags lowered like this will be reflected at public buildings across the United Kingdom. And we now have a very clear process of about 10 days leading up to a funeral. But I don't want to give too much detail about the plans that I've seen because they do need to be signed off by the King to be formalised. But we'll be hearing more details about that, I'm sure, as the evening progresses. But Queen Elizabeth has died at the age of 96, which is a horrific moment for the UK, but also 14 other nations around the world, and indeed other nations where she wasn't head of state, who revered her as the longest serving, and I'd say most revered head of state until she died this afternoon.
Max, let me just ask you, just personally, you have followed this family through much of your career. You're a Royals correspondent. You have watched the Queen in good times and in bad times. What are your thoughts about her in this moment, about her reign, about her life, about her legacy?
I think what she did was extraordinary. She came to the throne in her 20s with a crumbling empire and many people talking about the death of the monarchy. And somehow she turned that into one of the most successful, arguably the most successful monarchy that Britain has ever seen. She reigned over a tumultuous period of British history, the media revolution, a loss of reverence in society. She's someone that we can't actually relate to because of the kind of life that she lived, but someone who we did ultimately learn to relate to because of the way she managed her monarchy. She remained relevant by embracing the media, by connecting with us, by speaking to us, by bringing in television cameras and showing her meeting other people. Very simple little gestures, but things that made her relevant to us and made her relatable. She also was there in times of grief. Any national moment, we would look to her and she would be there for us. We would see her at regular events over the course of the year, so she tiptoed through our lives and she was always there. I think what is going to be very difficult is for us not to see her in our ultimate moment of grief, which is her dying. And we will now look to the King. We'll wait to hear whether or not the King keeps the name Charles, whether he's King Charles or he chooses another name. We will get details on that when a placard is put up there on the forecourt at Buckingham Palace, where he will, the formal announcement will be made and there'll be a reference to his name. We know that Camilla is now the Queen Consort, so she is Queen Camilla. Prince William is now the Duke of Cornwall. He will inevitably become the Prince of Wales because that's a title that will come to him, and he takes over the Duchy of Cornwall, and now Prince George is second in line to the throne. So this is a huge moment in British history and Commonwealth history, and I think for the world, because I think she transcended actually monarchy, and I think she was a truly global figure, and one who has a guaranteed place in the history books. And I'm now looking down at those people gathering outside the palace gates, and I think those numbers will escalate and it will be a very emotional scene as this news sets in.
Christian?
It is very extraordinary to hear Max describe what's happened and keep using the word King Charles, King, the new king, because for 70 years this country and the world has only known a queen, Queen Elizabeth. She was one of only a very few female monarchs of this kingdom, and incredibly successful, along with Queen Victoria, along with Queen Elizabeth I, and it's very difficult to know where the country will go.
The Queen has tragically died aged 96, making an end to her historical reign and sparking an outpouring of grief around the world. Thanks for watching UBS TV Official. I'm Francis Kalesura. We really appreciate you for the effort you put in supporting our channel. Elizabeth II, or known as Elizabeth Alexandra Mary, was born on 21st April 1926 and died today on 8th September 2022. Was a queen of the United Kingdom and of the 14th sovereign countries from 6th February 1952 until her death. Her reign of 70 years and 7 months is the longest of any British monarchy. In a sober statement, Buckingham Palace today confirmed Her Majesty Elizabeth II, the longest serving monarch in British history, had passed away, making her son Charles the king. Buckingham Palace announced in a statement tonight the Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and the Queen consort will remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow. The United Kingdom the UK was immediately plunged into a state of mourning with plans for her funeral and a national day of remembrance to be announced in the coming days. Her passing comes after Prince Charles and Prince William rest to be by the Queen's side after doctors confirmed they were concerned for her health. Prior to her death, the monarchy was said by Buckingham Palace to be comfortable at Balmoral, where she remained under medical supervision. The love felt for her by Brits was clear in June when she celebrated her platinum jubilee, making 70 incredible years on the throne. Her Majesty beamed as royal fans erupted in applause as she entered the balcony at Buckingham Palace to kick off the 4-day bank holiday. He stepped in for his mother at the state opening of Parliament in May after she was forced to pull out for the first time in 59 years. The advice from doctors to take a step back followed a night the Queen spent in hospital in October 2021 to undergo preliminary investigations. The Queen was later seen walking with the help of a cane, and a sprained back forced her to miss the following Remembrance Day service at the cenotaph, something that disappointed her greatly. She battled back from a COVID infection and was captured displaying her beloved sense of humor as she met Justin Trudeau on March 7th, but Her Majesty was urged to slow down in the months leading to her death, as her public appearance were significantly curtailed amid fears for her health. Thanks for watching UBS TV Official. I encourage you to subscribe, continue subscribing, liking, following, and commenting on all videos as we post them. Thanks for watching UBS TV Official. I'm Francis Kalesura.